We've got the potential for some stronger storms today. Here's a look at where we are going to see those thunderstorms firing up, western Texas, into portions of the plains.
All right, so let's talk about this, all these different colors. How do you communicate severe weather and its threat the best? We've got symbols, we've got shapes, we've got colors out there. Let's break it all down for you with Dr. Marshall Shepard, host of Weather Geeks. All right, Doc, when we see a tornado warning or a severe thunderstorm watch, the polygon, where did this come from?
Yeah, it's come from years of research within the National Weather Service and NOAA, and I think we're in an era where there's still sort of realization that it's not perfect. I think many of us that just are very weather attentive kind of know what we're looking at. But in a class I taught at the University of Georgia last year, Jim and Steph, I found that there's literature out there that says some people don't really know what they're looking at. They don't know whether the threat is most dangerous in the middle of the polygon. Is it saying that the storm is moving into the polygon? Now, for us, all of that's intuitive, but I think we take for granted that many in the public may not necessarily understand what they're seeing.
Have they thought about maybe changing the way that this is communicated, or did your students have any ideas of how to change the way it's communicated?
Yeah, well, what we did in that study with our students, we actually surveyed University of Georgia students, and we gave them different realizations of a storm situation with the polygon in different places and asked them to interpret it. And they were all over the place. But I think there are efforts within the National Weather Service. There's a program called Facets, for example. Other social science research is trying to get at this notion because it's really not intuitive to many people. Remember, there are studies that have come out that says that people can't even find what county they live in.
Yeah.
Dr. Shepard, do you think it's important that all of us in the enterprises, whether you be national, local, just putting stuff on Twitter, Facebook, whatever, use the same way to communicate the severe message? Do we have to be a uniform?
Absolutely. Jim, when I was president of the American Meteorological Society, one of the things that I actually did is I actually had a call with the president of the RDTNA. It's a big radio television industry organization. And I was really pushing for standards to get television stations, various other communication outlets on the same page, because when you have the National Weather Service or the Storm Prediction Center putting out risk in a certain color and number of categories, and you have others putting that out in a different way, I think that can confuse the public. So hopefully we can move towards that eventually.
Okay, let's look at the SPC now on the severe weather outlook, because they have these lines that have arrows at the end, which I guess I've noticed, but I've never really kind of thought about. And so the question is, what do these arrows mean? And do you think that this is a good way to articulate this as well?
Well, yes, Stephanie, you and I were having a Twitter conversation when I tweeted, why is that arrow there? I saw it out there, and, I think it's from a legacy, older way of doing things within the National Weather Service. One of the things that I found when I'm talking to people that aren't meteorologists is oftentimes when they see arrows, they think the arrow is pointing at something. In many cases, we use arrows on map to show motion or advection, or it's moving towards something. In that case, that particular graphic, it was just a legacy sort of way of indicating risk. So I think we have to just think carefully about how the average person interprets these and not just how we interpret them.
Well, then it comes to the enhanced and moderate thing, which has to change. I'm sorry, I just think that has to change.
I think they're still thinking about that.
Yeah, when moderate is the second worst potential there, it just doesn't.
When enhanced is less than moderate,
right.
I mean, it's very confusing. Dr. Shepard,
lots of work to be done.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
Thanks, Doc.